If you neglect that second part, your theme can end up very confusing in the story because you'll be sending mixed messages about it. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are talking about story themes. Specifically, how do you choose a strong theme for your story? Now, I do have an entire workshop on this, so if this video ends up being of interest but you want more information, definitely check out the workshop. It comes with great videos, it comes with class notes so that you can follow along with them, and as always, a very extensive workbook for you to then put that all into practice and really get your themes written so that you can get on with your story. All right, story themes. Forgive me if I look down. You know I teach from notes. So a few pieces of advice on choosing a good theme. And the first thing I want you to think about is that when you choose themes, well, no, this is the first thing I want you to think about. I just changed midstream. First thing to think about is do not get hung up on saying, I've got to come up with some major new theme. You know, everybody's done a theme on love and I can't do a theme on love. You can do a theme on love. There are some classic themes for a reason. They just get redone and redone. What's going to make it unique is how you write it and how you manifest it in your story. So do not get hung up on thinking it's a boring theme that's been done too much. That being said, when you think about themes, it's important to think not just about the theme, but also about the thematic statement, which is what do you think about the theme? So I might have a theme that is love, but my thematic statement is love wins in the end. That's different. Somebody else might have a theme on love and it might be love breaks your heart. You know, two very, very different thematic statements about the theme of love. So don't just think about a general theme, think about your thematic statements for it. I get into this in more detail on choosing thematic statements and the kinds of themes that you might have in the workshop. But you're not just picking a theme. You have a message you want to tell. And that's what's going to make your theme really stand out. And I really do encourage you not to just say, okay, well, love wins, that's my theme. Really spend some time sitting with your theme. If there was one piece of advice that I could give to writers in general, it would be you're not spending enough time just sort of contemplating the nuances and the possibilities of a given thing. You're just not maximizing it. And sometimes people say, oh, well, I don't know if my story is any good. And I'm like, I think your story is good. You just aren't spending enough time on each of the areas you need to focus on to build that story. And that's why it feels flat and like it's been done before. So spend time thinking about the story you want to tell and the message you're trying to tell. If you neglect that second part, your theme can end up very confusing in the story because you'll be sending mixed messages about it. You're not sending a cohesive message about the theme of love because you're just kind of randomly writing about this and that. Now, absolutely, you can use a story to determine how you feel about a certain theme or concept. And this is very near and dear to my heart to me because one of the things that really helps me and motivates me when I'm writing is toying with an abstract concept and using the story as a way to get my head around that concept and build something concrete around it. I just happen to like to write that way. So I definitely think that you can sort of say, I don't know totally how I feel about love, but I want to use it to explore. I want to use this story to explore that theme. And so you can work backwards that way, and that's fine. But as you start to design your story, your thoughts about that theme will begin to solidify themselves. And that's where in subsequent drafts, you start to really tighten that up and make it more concrete and more cohesive so that it's not all over the place and you're not just sort of sending a lot of random mixed messages about the theme. As you design your characters, you want to think about the way that the characters connect with that theme. If you've taken my character relationships workshop, or if you've watched my YouTube video on character relationships, I get into this. But themes are a very great way to help develop out your characters and decide the traits that are most important to you to include in your story. there are many more things you could say about your character than you can ever possibly tell me. And just like there are many more scenes that will be in your head than you can possibly relate in the story. So one of your jobs as a writer is to choose, well, what are the most important character traits or the most important scenes that my reader or my viewer needs to see or know about? What are the ones that I really want to develop? And part of what will help you make that decision will be knowing what your themes are, knowing what concepts it is that you really want to toy with and focus on. That's going to help you narrow down what traits you decide to bring out in your characters and how those characters comment on one another. So think, when as you design your themes, think about, well, what would be the most interesting ones for my characters and for character development, and what are the ones that I really want to write on the most. But always spend some time after you've thought about your themes going back to your character profiles that you've made and seeing how those themes influence that character, and then rehashing those profiles a bit. And the last thing I would say is that as you write your plot events, always say, how does this plot event relate to the theme, if it does? Not every plot event will relate to every theme, and it doesn't have to. But if it's a theme, it's going to surface numerous times in your story. And so asking, okay, how do I want my plot events to kind of connect to this theme, will help make sure that the scenes that you're writing have a great deal, or the most relevance that you can give them. A scene can have relevance for a number of different reasons, and you want to maximize each one of them. That's what makes for a very powerful story. So thinking about where or how might theme play into this scene, play into this event, is going to help flesh that event out and make it feel more critical to the reader. I get into this in my my video on scenes and scene writing, and how important it is that those scenes connect. Themes will also come into play for your subplots, because you might have a subplot that really is just connected to a certain theme, and that theme runs through that subplot, and that's your means of getting it into the story. So, when you have a theme, you have to sit there and say, okay, this is my theme, but how am I going to actually put this theme into the story? So look at your subplots, look at your characters, because that will help you do it. Now, the workshop gets into all of this in way more detail. Themes can be a little bit overwhelming. Take a look at the workshop. I think it's going to help you a whole lot. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I really hope your writing projects are going well. I thank you very much for watching. Bye.